Hello and welcome to the Profitable PR Show, where you get big visibility through the power of publicity. So today I want to talk to you all about what not to do when pitching to journalists, because they have a lot of pet hates when they are being pitched to by PRs or entrepreneurs trying to get into the press. And the great news is that every single month with my VIP clients, I run something called the Pitch Clinic, where I invite a leading journalist who will be pitched to by my VIP clients. They literally have 3 minutes in which the clients have 3 minutes to speak to the journalist, to actually pitch their idea. And then they have about 5 to 10 minutes follow-up questions, suggestions of how they can improve the pitch, whether they be relevant for that publication or not, and what are the steps that they can take. But before we get started with all of that, with all the pitching, I always ask the journalists to give their 5 top pitching tips. So my knowledge and all the rest of it has come along from doing this over the years, and hearing the tips. And I just love hearing the tips. And sometimes I hear a new tip. It's like, oh my God, I love it. I need it. I'm going to share it. But very often it's tips which I actually learned when I was running my own business. And it was stuff which I hadn't done or I got blacklisted for doing, making the mistakes so you don't have to make those mistakes. So let's just think about a pet hate for a journalist. There are a few, 1 or 2. Don't make these mistakes, because if you do, then first off, your email won't even get opened. So pet hate is, okay, let's just say that you've got a really great heading, subject headline. So they've actually clicked and opened up your email. It's like, great, can't wait to read all about this brilliant story or brilliant new study or whatever. You actually then have written an essay and there's no line breaks. It's just like one big clump of text. It's like, oh my God, they just can't hack that. It's like, okay, let me cut to the chase. So that could be one, okay, just writing an essay, and it just makes it undesirable to read for the journalists, okay? Another one is, this is really obvious, but it happens very often, is people actually get the name wrong. So they'll say Dear Susan as opposed to Dear Sarah. So they haven't done their due diligence. So that is an issue. Another pet hate is when a journalist gets a pitch and it's actually not for the journalist is the wrong journalist. So let's say that the journalist works in healthcare and you have actually pitched to somebody who works in construction, and it's so different. So, hello Antonella, come stai? Molto grazie. Great to have you here watching. Yeah, so literally you are pitching to the wrong journalist who's got nothing to do with it, and it's quite irritating. So that's another one. Or this is another one which people do, because what they want to do is do a mass mail out. They do a mass mail out. And what they do is they literally have, you can just see the different copy, different font. So they say, Dear Sarah, in red or in blue, and then they've got the body of the email in a different color. And it's like, come on, you haven't done your homework. So that's that. So please do your homework when you're pitching. Another thing is make sure that you're pitching to the right person who writes for that very section. So let's say you want to pitch to the Times Body and Soul, okay? Make sure you're pitching to the journalist who've actually bought the publication, so you know about the publication and you know how they actually write the articles and the pieces. Is it a listicle, which means is it like 5 ways on how to do? Is it a long piece? So, but make sure that you're writing for the right section. So don't get the wrong journalist in the wrong section, okay? So make sure if it's Body and Soul, you've actually read Body and Soul for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Every Saturday, I think it's when it comes out. And you see that there's a common journalist, or there might be a freelancer, but make sure that she is the person or he is the person who writes for that very section, okay? I mean, freelancers do write for other papers and other pieces, but you need to make sure you're getting it right then. Another pet hate is they hate being chased. So just don't chase them. So what you need to do is actually wait for about 3 days for a response, because don't forget their inboxes are loaded. Literally, they are loaded all the time. I think they get on average 300 emails to 1,000 emails a day. So if you've cut through and then you're chasing them, they find that quite irritating. So what you can actually do, if you want to chase them up, I always recommend changing up the heading. Okay, so that's another idea. And also they don't really like having phone calls. because they're always on deadline. So just think it's a difficult job being a journalist. Then they are breaking news, writing about the news all the time. So they are in the thick of it all the time. So just don't chase them. And what you need to do is actually kind of get to know the journalists before you're pitching them. Okay, so what I mean by that is following them on LinkedIn, Twitter, and all the other social areas where they are, social platforms that they're on. So you can actually go in not cold but warm because you started to like and retweet their articles and stuff. So it's kind of basically establishing a relationship. But once you got the relationship established with them, okay, don't cock it up by getting their name wrong because that's a pet hate. So yeah, and I was emailing somebody today and I got the spelling wrong. I thought, oh my God, do not press send. Thank goodness that I've got spell checker before my emails go out. So always check your email before you send it out. I hope you have enjoyed these tips. If you'd like to know how to write a killer headline and you'd like to work with me, I'd love to help you out. Book a call, go to amandapr.com/apply and let's see, because I've got multiple levels, different ways of working together. Let's speak and let's see how I can help you. But thanks everybody for joining the broadcast.